On February 14th, 2018, one of the deadliest mass shootings in US school history took place. 19-year-old Nikolas Cruz opened fire on students and staff at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, resulting in the deaths of 17 people and injuries to 17 others. Nikolas Cruz, born on September 24, 1998, was adopted as a baby by Linda and Roger Cruz. In his childhood, Cruz exhibited signs of emotional and behavioral disorders. At school, he was often isolated and placed in special programs for children with special needs. Roger Cruz passed away when Nikolas was 5 years old, and his mother, Linda Cruz, died in November 2017, just months before the tragedy. After her death, he moved in with a friend's family, but his emotional state continued to deteriorate. Cruz was expelled from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in 2017 for violating school rules a year before the attack. Teachers and students frequently reported his strange and aggressive behavior. He often posted on social media about violence, weapons, and killings. In the months leading up to the attack, students and parents contacted the police and school administrators with warnings about his threats, but these reports did not lead to serious actions.
It all begins. The day of my massacre shall begin. All the kids in school will in fear and hide. From the wrath of my power they will know who I am. I am nothing, I am no one. My life is nothing and meaningless. Everything that I hold dear I let go beyond your half. Every day I see the world ending another day. I live a lone life, live in seclusion and solitude. I hate everyone and everything. With the power of my AR, you will all know who I am. Hello. My name is Nick, and I'm going to be the next school shooter of 2018. My goal is at least 20 people. With an AR-15 and a couple tracer rounds, I think I can get it done. Location is Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, Florida. It's going to be a big event. And when you see me on the news, you'll all know who I am. You're all going to die.
On February 14th, Cruz arrived at the school in an Uber, carrying an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle, which he had legally purchased the previous year. He entered the building through an unlocked door and began shooting people in the hallways and classrooms. Many students and teachers tried to hide but were unable to escape the gunfire. Within minutes, he had carried out a brutal attack, killing 17 people and wounding 17 others. After the shooting, Cruz attempted to escape by blending in with the crowd of evacuating students, but he was apprehended by police about an hour after fleeing the scene.
What's going on? What's going on today, bro?
The demons, man.
Demons?
Voices.
Voices and demons?
Where's the voices? What the fuck? Where the fuck am I? Holy shit. What happened?
The investigation revealed that the FBI had previously received warnings about Cruz being a potential threat, but had failed to take necessary action. In the aftermath of the tragedy, intense debates arose about gun control, school security, and mental health. Many surviving students organized movements advocating for stricter gun control measures, such as March for Our Lives, calling for tougher laws regulating access to firearms and improved school safety. In October 2021, Cruz pleaded guilty to all charges. On October 13, 2022, the court sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Following the sentencing, the trial and the decision to sentence Nikolas Cruz to life in prison sparked widespread public debate. Many were shocked that the defendant, who had committed such a brutal crime, avoided the death penalty. Prosecutors insisted on capital punishment, citing the gravity of the crime, the premeditation of Cruz's actions, and the number of victims. However, Cruz's defense emphasized his mental health issues and difficult upbringing, arguing that his serious psychological problems should be considered as mitigating factors. During the court proceedings, relatives of the victims and survivors spoke in court, expressing their grief and pain. For them, Cruz's life sentence brought only partial solace. Many openly voiced their disappointment that the death penalty was not applied, as they believed it was the only just punishment for the killer. Nevertheless, the court's decision was based on a careful evaluation of various factors, including the influence of mental illness on Cruz's actions. After the Parkland tragedy, a large-scale movement for reforming gun control laws began. Students from Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School, including survivors and relatives of the victims, became activists, calling on the authorities to tighten laws regulating access to firearms. Their protests and actions, such as the famous March for Our Lives, gained widespread support across the country and drew international attention. One result of these efforts was the enactment of stricter laws in some U.S. states aimed at restricting access to firearms for individuals with mental health issues or suspicious behavior. Measures were also taken to improve school safety, including the implementation of violence prevention programs and training for school staff on how to act in emergency situations. However, despite successes in certain states, nationwide gun control reforms were not fully adopted, and the issue of mass shootings in the U.S. remains pressing. The Parkland shooting became one of the most discussed and tragic chapters in the country's history, underscoring the importance of addressing mental health, access to firearms, and school safety.